Well, we've just had the phone call from our solicitor to say that we have finally completed on the sale of this amazing house. We are going to miss it massively, but it is time for the grand adventure to begin. Stage one of the grand adventure isn't overly grand. We are going to be moving into one of our recently completed HMOs for about 2 weeks. And this isn't some crazy social experiment. We're not going to be moving in with the housemates to see how we get on with them or anything like that. It will be completely empty until the day that we leave out and then move out. And then the first housemates will move in. After that, we've got a couple of months of being nomadic, homeless, sofa surfing, friends and family looking after us, and then come March, we will be heading off to the boat. But what we wanted to cover in May? God, I wish it was March. This video will just be a quick summary, I suppose, of our next 2 weeks living in an HMO for the first time since we were young graduates living up in Newcastle. Yeah, so watch this space. The big move is officially over and we have spent our first weekend as the first residents in our latest HMO, and it's definitely not ready for housemates or tenants to be moved in yet, but given us a place to sleep, it's been absolutely fine. We have pretty much spread ourselves out across 3 of the 8 bedrooms. This one, which we are in, and here has just become a bit of a dumping ground for everything that didn't quite make it to storage. And then this one is being used as storage for all of our staging stuff for the house, which will be used to dress the bedrooms later on in the week. So upstairs is really just finishing touches and snagging. Downstairs is a bit of a different story though. It is a little bit further behind. I'm going to show you in the kitchen and you can see we still got frame going around the door. There's a little bit of damp in that bottom corner which is stopping us from painting. Generally it just needs a good clear out. There's evidence of our culinary delights over the weekend. We've got plinths to go on, and also the yard needs a good clear out as well. Not just for our benefit, but it's a bit of an eyesore. The biggest issue for us though is the fact that the Wi-Fi isn't in yet. It was supposed to be in last week, but then Virgin realised they didn't have any cables in the area, so they're coming out today to survey and see how long it's going to take them to get a new fibre installation to the building, so it could be a couple more weeks. With that in mind, we're going to head across to one of our friends and pick up their Wi-Fi so we can get some work done today, and we'll leave the trades to it to get on with their snagging and finishing touches. New day, new office. I am in Heaton Chapel today. Main reason being, from this window, I've got a fantastic view of our latest project. I'm also excited because I got this construction camera, which we're going to set up in the window to keep an eye on the project because the trusses are going on tomorrow, which is very exciting. Here we go, the Brno BCC 200 Construction Camera Pro. So it's got a 80-day battery life apparently, just running off AA's, taking a picture every 10 minutes or so. So that should be more than enough for the speed that our guys will be working at. So we'll set it up for the next couple of days and see what happens. So whilst we've been hanging out at friends' houses and coffee shops during the day, the trades have been busy on site. And things are going reasonably well, although I would like progress to be going a little bit quicker. They were supposed to be finished, all of the snagging, by today. In reality, that's probably already a week over when it should have been done, and there's still got a little bit to do. But things are definitely progressing. We can see we've got a rail here for one of the stairs, and the other one is just here going down, although they've taken some chunks out of the wall getting that fitted, so this whole wall is going to need repainted along with most of the rest of the house. We've got the frame on and painted around the back door, which is looking good. All the plinths are going on tomorrow, I've been promised. The backyard, which was a bit of a bomb site, is now at least a little bit clearer. I'm going to get back in because it's raining. But then, you see stupid things like this. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. But somebody, yeah, I don't think you can see that, has spilt something on the carpet and tried to scrub it. Brand new carpet. And the pile's ruined. So that's fun, so we're going to need to get that replaced. And then equally, by the door here, where the kitchen comes into the hallway, again, that's filthy after about 3 days of wear because the trades haven't been taking their shoes off, so they need to get their arse kicked about that. But Victoria and I have made ourselves a little bolt hole in what will be the cinema room. TV is on. McDonald's has been eaten. What more do you need? So, excuse me, tomorrow is Wednesday. Like I say, the guys are back snagging, but I will be up and out early. Back to feed the little coffee shop we run today because we got something very exciting happening at Manchester Road, but I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. This big crane behind me is exactly what we've been excited about. We've got the trusses going on to our barbershop project today, and just round the front, I'll go and show you. We got the trusses sat on the main road, ready to get lifted on. I kind of thought I wanted to watch this, but now that we're here and the crane is in position, it's making me a little bit nervous. But I've got a pretty good vantage point. So the crane is parked around the corner. I can just get the top of it in there, and we're parked up at front with all the trusses on that flatbed. But before we get them on, we've got to get the old purlins out, so it's gonna be a busy day. So our first couple of weeks living in an HMO is over, and actually we're only going to have a couple more nights here rather than the full 2 weeks, as we've now got a couple of housemates that want to move in the middle of next week. It's not been a massively eye-opening experience. In actual fact, living here has been perfectly fine, actually better than fine. The rooms are a great size, the beds are comfy, the en-suites are all really nice, and obviously, you know, we believe that we are creating a good product, so it doesn't really surprise me that I feel that way. But I suppose a couple of things have crossed my mind as we have been living here, particularly with the fact that we've been living here whilst all of this snagging has still been going on. And the biggest issue is that that really is a pain. Now, we are in the habit, if we're getting towards the end of a project and someone is desperate to move in, of letting them move in, and even if everything isn't finished, saying to them, you know, it's only a couple of days work left, so just live around it, make it work. Or, you know, if the Wi-Fi is not going to be set up till the end of the week or something like that, we're usually fine to let them move in. I think going forwards, we are going to have to be pretty firm and say that nobody is moving in these houses until everything is finished. Because despite it bringing in income a little bit better, a little bit earlier, and despite it maybe suiting that housemate a little bit better if they can get in when they need to, I think the idea of living in a house where work is still going on has been a real pain. Just with the noise, the mess, we've not had Wi-Fi in this week, and that has been a real pain, and it's just really, from that point of view, not being a nice environment to live in. So rule number one for us that we've taken away from this week is we're going to make sure that everything is done and dusted completely before anyone is allowed to move in. The second thing is that our outdoor spaces are far too neglected compared to the standard of the interiors of the house that we're putting out there. We've typically not spent a huge amount of time or money tarting up yards or back gardens, but again, I think that is going to have to change, because actually, I mean, it's not helped the fact that it's been bitterly cold and thrown it down with rain most of this week, but it's a pretty bleak outlook from our kitchen windows and some of the bedroom windows on a neglected rundown yard that hasn't had any TLC. So for the extra couple of grand it would cost us, we're going to make sure that all of our yards and garden spaces are done up to a similar sort of standard that the house is done up to, just to give our housemates a better place to live. Like I say, it'll give them a nicer outlook in the winter and somewhere a bit more sociable to hang out in the summer. And typically they're only used for bin storage, bike storage, and honestly popping out for a cigarette. But it's yeah, you know, there's no reason why we shouldn't be. It feels like we've been stopping early. You know, the house is done, breathe a sigh of relief, move on to the next one, and just forget about the outdoor space. So we're definitely going to be doing something here and going forwards. And I guess the third thing that has really been on my mind this week is that whilst we have tried to systemize and put processes in place for a lot of our business ready for us moving away, the one thing that we haven't really figured out yet is all of these finishing touches, things like putting up curtain poles, building bathroom cabinets and getting them on the walls. So I've found myself getting my hands a little bit dirty. It's literally the only time I've picked up any tools on this job, which I'm delighted to say has been a big success in the main, that 99% of the work is complete without me getting involved. But still, these little finishing touches, we don't really have anyone in place to take care of them. It's not something I want to be paying one of our trades 150, 200 quid a day to be doing, and equally it's not necessarily a job for a labourer who's maybe not got the tools that they need in their van, and there's a bit of to and fro about how they should do things and so on. So I think we need to find a handyman, maybe someone that's semi-retired or just that's used to doing all of that sort of stuff, so that I can remove myself from that without it impacting on any of the rest of our team. But that being said, we don't have that in place just now, so yeah, it's all down to me to get these things finished. And whilst I've been sorting those bathroom cabinets out, I've been trying to think what to do with the garden, because it's stressing me out a little bit as well. It's a bit of a dump, to be honest with you. It's just cracked and sort of blown render, a bit of graffiti, and I just think the nicest way to tidy it up is going to be to fence over the wall. So I'm going to give that a shot this afternoon, trying to get one of the sections of wall panelled, and if it's looking good, I'll maybe get a couple of guys onto that to finish it off during the rest of this week. Well, it's move out day from the HMO, and like I said earlier in the week, it's actually not been that eye-opening an experience. It's been a great place to live, but we need to get our processes, or our finishing processes, a little bit better organized so that everything is done and dusted before the first tenants move in. Anyway, we've vacated the room that we've been staying in. The first tenant is moving in here tomorrow into the room that we've been in. And after that, I think we've got one moving in at the weekend. We've got 4 rooms out of the 8 reserved so far. But I've been doing a little bit. We've got most of the rooms finalized now. We've had the whole place blitzed and cleaned today. Victoria and Catherine have been staging the rooms. I've got a bit of the wall out the back done. I think it looks really good, but time to hand that over to the professionals. The proof of concept is well and truly complete, and we're going to wait for a few days, so I'm going to leave that in the capable hands of our trades, who will do a lot better job than I have. We've also found a handyman who's going to come in on Friday, so end of this week, get all the little bits finished off, so all those bathroom cabinets up, curtain rails up, and a few shelves and little bits and pieces that we just don't have time for. But it's been good fun. It's been nice to see that the standard of HMOs that we're creating are really a nice place to live. And next week on the vlog, we will have an end-to-end video of this process. We've been recording it from day one, so make sure you check that out. But in the meantime, I would massively appreciate it if you could give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you've got any questions about this project, feel free to leave a comment below as well. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you next week.